let's get to it. Chris Jericho. So a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff has gone down this past week. I was debating whether to wait to talk about it with his match. We're going to do the World's End review, but I figured we'll just jump into it now, and then we'll reference back. Hey, talk about how the crowd reacted to him. Then.
Oh man, that was.
All right. So like these, like I don't even know like where to begin this. So these rumors have been around regarding Kylie Rae
since 2019.
Since 2019.
Since she left the company. Yeah.
From murky at best sources.
Right.
And there was like entire tweet exchange with Jericho and Stephen P. New and resolving from the All Out NDA stuff. Jericho said he's never signed an NDA. Nick Hausman, a man with I don't even know how to insult him that quickly, but a man without a care in the world, I'll just say that, jumps in and he says, well, does that count for people you make sign NDAs? And then Chris Jericho blocked him on Twitter. And then from there, it went to a bunch of different people. Like, it just kept escalating a little bit more each day. And then it like culminated in, it was like a podcast clip where he further talked about Chris Jericho and said, he's done a lot of great things in the business, but, there would also be people that probably wouldn't speak so highly of him. And he, kind of danced around it, and he said a lot of things that were like, he was kind of talking in code. And eventually, I woke up, I think it was, I don't know what day it was. I woke up and entire Twitter like had already put Chris Jericho in jail. I was like, what's happened? I don't know what happened. And then I saw like Kylie Rae had liked and then later unliked some tweets and left a heart emoji under a Nick Hausman heart emoji. And then from there, all hell broke loose.
Okay.
And it was like, yeah, there is like some old screenshots from 2019, the exact same ones with like cropped out names and stuff like that. Luckily, when all this stuff like was going down before, I had some old screenshots saved, so I knew the source where it was coming from, and the people that were writing this stuff was linked up with Ben Hameen, who is off that Billy Batty tree of like unreliability. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And around that time, there were a bunch of different rumors. There were like Brandy Rose bullied her out of AEW, meaning Kylie Rae. There was also the Jericho thing that was out there. And the whole thing was like she was told to go to some room where she assumed this is the rumor, right? This is not the allegation. This is nothing. This is literally what someone wrote on Facebook. So they were like, she needs to go to this room, assuming that there were people there, but it was not. And Chris Jericho made a pass at her. No, nothing else, right? No other details were given there. So from that, it's like it went into people started, writing fan fiction about all this. From there on Twitter, between Hausman and him launching this platform, he got his access cut. He was in the middle of a Twitter war, decided to unearth whatever this is. And then, you got seemingly Kylie Rae co-signing this or whatever with the emoji. However, It's a fucking emoji. And this is, you look at Kylie Rae's last, I would say 4 or 5 years, she's gone through a lot. She's in and out of the wrestling business at any given time. I believe she had a child. She was in and out of rehab for alcohol, and she is known for being vague on social media to where everyone's just kind of doesn't really. And as an outsider, I don't know what to do with it, because like when you start talking about your relationship with God and everything like that, I'm like, I'm not in that relationship. I don't know what's happening here. But this emoji things, I think it sent Chris Jericho to jail in a lot of people's eyes. There was as much.
It sent his ass to jail in Nassau Coliseum on Saturday night.
Yeah, and I think and it was a subject all day on Twitter, culminating in Nassau Coliseum, and then later the press conference where Tony Khan got asked about the whole deal. About
what did he say?
What he didn't say anything. Like he was like,
commented it.
He said, "I cannot comment on I actually have the quote. Give me 1 second."
Okay. Yeah, that's strange because Tony Khan normally will just filibuster around something without actually answering it. That's normally his go-to move, which is interesting.
He kind of did that, but I think I can't really knock him for what he did either. Like he was like, I can't speak to internet or unsourced rumors because there's not been an allegation made. All there's been has been emojis, and and it's like he was asked,
and if it came down to it, his ass would probably be like depositioned anyway. If it came down to it,
right?
So it's probably not for his benefit to.
He got asked whether Chris Jericho now is he now or has he ever been under investigation? And his response was, I can't speak to internet or unsourced rumors. I don't think it would behoove him to either say yes or no in that situation because I think you have a duty to protect your athlete in that case.
And the answer is probably yes, just based off of the brawl out thing alone.
And it was like, he went on about the safety of wrestlers, there's stuff like that. People flipped that quote. We're basically saying like, what do you mean the safety of wrestlers? You feared for your life. Like when he was clearly talking about under like the sexual harassment or, any type of abuse allegation, style that style of safety or whatever. But a lot of people want Jericho out of here for this. Personally, I don't even want to say if he did something, get him out of there because I think that's obvious. However, this thing is just crazy how this all moved. Like this is moving off of dark, it's been dark open, Twitter rumors.
It's been a thing that's been around, floating around in the internet space. Quite frankly, like we've heard more jokes about. Well, these were the jokes about Chris Jericho that happened in 2019 up until his wife was at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Like that was the number one thing until this. And that like got it. That took like the focus of it is like all the jokes went to Jericho's wife, which is also another interesting story because Jericho's wife like took her account off private in the last week or two. And she is worse and the shit that she poses is worse than you imagined for someone that was at the Capitol. So just been a banner start of 2024 for Jericho. But
so also I forgot to mention with the Nick Hausman element of this, right? He's completely irresponsible for what he's doing, whether it's putting a story out there that either he can do better on and write a real story for real.
Well, regardless of whether or not if Jericho did something wrong, then he should have been outed years ago for this. Correct?
You would think, or he should be out. He should be outed whenever whoever or whenever the victim feels like they need to speak up.
Yeah, sure.
If people know about it,
Hausman isn't doing this.
He's not doing this for pure reasons
of wanting to see a better society. He was in a pissing match with Jericho for whatever reason, and then decided to sling mud. This is mud slinging. Yeah. So like,
and
so it's all
we can't leave out. We can't leave out.
The thing that needs to be
the Nick Hausman is a house organ for CM Punk. In this whole thing,
I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely! Like
I don't know these people's names. I don't follow this shit.
Okay,
So
the entire Twitter exchange was between Jericho and CM Punk's lawyer regarding the All Out stuff.
Right.
So there's like he like Nick Hausman being egged on here essentially, and then now this whole thing is essentially like another layer of CM Punk versus Chris Jericho and by proxy AEW now.
Gotcha.
And then there's like it's really like it becomes a tribalism thing. It becomes
and then I saw like some Cornette people were also jumping on Jericho too.
People, yeah, it's like this whole thing got so nasty, so many different ways, and it was just like I feel like if no one's ever going to talk about it, and if Kylie Rae is under NDA allegedly and all that, I feel like with the Vince McMahon stuff, we saw how people got around NDAs. Call the New York Times or something. like get someone to write something for real. Like if you can't trust the wrestling media to do their thing, if you can't trust,
you can't.
Yeah. Oh, you and,
I,
and you
I,
absolutely can't.
I think when it comes to this, you absolutely can't. It's not some. It's even like a. And I don't think you were doing this, but like we can't even like we cannot trust them. We can't trust even the best or most notable or most prominent to be able to do this job because they do not handle us like real media does.
Right. So like, but the absolute rush to get Jericho out of here over an emoji, I'm just not doing it. Like over an emoji, I'm like, yo, you're an adult. Use your words. Whenever you're ready, we'll be here. That's where I'm at on it.
So for me, I feel like whatever someone feels like wanting to do with this, if they want to brand Jericho, not brand, I'll take that back. If they want to say that Jericho is a sex pest, because they saw that emoji, and that's enough confirmation for them, cool with me. If people still have mixed feelings about it, which is kind of where I am on this, as far as like this has been a dirty internet rumor, and I don't mean dirty to say whether or not it's believable or not, but like just a thing that's been around, like that's been unsubstantiated, and still, quite frankly, is still unsubstantiated. I don't know what to do with this. But I'm keeping an open mind to it. I am open. I am in good faith. Don't know what to do with this. don't know what to do with this, and like I don't want to hear anything from this, and I hope it goes away so I can cheer for Jericho. Look, man, I like Jericho. If he did this, that changes. Or if I hear any more information or whatever else,
I was like, we don't even know what he did. That's the thing. Like, it's like we'll made a pass.
Never know what he. We'll never know what he.
All we have is made a pass, James. I'm seeing people send out the Vince McMahon "come on out, you fucking rapist" video without a hint of irony on this thing. And it's like, hold on, let's
there's a lot of
let's be responsible here. But not everyone, not everyone thinks like that. So
they made a pass that is vague, and I don't mean that for cover for Jericho at all. It could be a lot worse than you think. It could be nothing. It could be just he's an adulterer. I mean, at worst, it's sex place harassment, right? If you only got to pay for that, all right, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with women not being okay with like going to work and like saying, "Hey, this person made a pass at me, get the fuck out of here," and people were like, "All right, man, you can't. Hey, man, the job ain't for fucking people, right? The workplace ain't for fucking people. Gotta go." So, yeah, I'm just I would like to know more on this. In all honesty, and hopefully there is more as far as whether Kylie wants to come forward and explain her side or not, or if she wants to, or if someone else is there that has more information on this or whatever else can come forth, and it's something that could be or more solid. Yeah, and I hate to say it that way because it makes it sound like don't believe this person, but I'm just keeping an open mind, and I don't know what the fuck to think on this. I'm just keeping an open mind, and as we, over time, hopefully we'll hear more and we'll get a resolution to this or something close approaching a resolution to this. Like so much of this stuff is like, forget Jericho, like just in general, it just left up to people to just like have things done to them and like they don't move on it or they sit on it and like that affects their lives. So, I hope for the best for her. I hope that, she can find peace with whatever happened to her or whatever. Because obviously, like it was her and Britt that were supposed to be like the two big stars of the division, and then like she just left, and it was really abrupt, and that's why this thing has stayed around for a long time, and it went away as far as like the interest in it or the mustling about it. Now it's back, and like hell, rightfully so, because it was weird. It was weird the whole time, and it's still weird now. It's even weirder now because now we have this shit coming back up as like almost like a cold case because people that don't give a fuck about her or her well-being are in a dick measuring contest about someone that's not even in the company anymore. It's all fucked up. Like something bad may have happened to this woman, and people are weaponizing it against somebody.
Yeah.
Not because they give a fuck about her at all. It sucks. It's nasty.
Yeah. So like, as far as like how AEW should handle Chris Jericho going forward, obviously his reactions have like already suffered from this from Saturday night. I don't know what they should do going forward because you can't just suspend him for quote unquote nothing. Like you can't just like I think you have to have a conversation with him. Like say you know what, like you have to. I feel like two people have to be in the room: Tony Khan and Chris Jericho. And if something already exists, they know it exists, and then they need to figure out how they want to attack it. I don't know the answer for how they proceed with Jericho forward, like especially should there be something that was like, hey, we'll give you your release, you know, but you sign this here, whatever. But that would be like, it's like, yeah, something went into HR where you would have to have an HR case combined with like the release thing. All that stuff would need to come to light, kind of. And I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean, because if these are skeletons in AEW's closet since 2019, Tony Khan has already decided to ride on that lie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, like so AEW and Tony Khan are not in a rush to presume or publicly presume or adjudicate Chris Jericho is guilty one way or the other.
I think
because it's a bad look because they're attached regardless
right.
of whatever happens.
I think the
so people that are looking for Tony Khan to have an answer on this, Tony Khan got to answer you because Tony Khan's skin is in this game too. If you were to think about it,
yeah, and without you know the deniability like is like without an allegation, like there's no reason to even address it. I think the
only
calls are going to get louder and louder
yeah,
and
that's what I'm
louder.
saying. The reason to address will be because there's going to be because the on-screen reaction doesn't make sense to someone that doesn't know what's going on. And this is a wrestling fan base or a wrestling promotion that reacts to their fans' reactions, right? Like it doesn't pretend like it's, you know, whenever they're in Canada or whatever else or Bizarro Land, they actually listen and change stuff. And if that's reaction he's gonna get, one of the nice things they can do is turn Jericho heel again to work in the booze off this. Because Jericho was doing this during the match. Like he was calling audibles to try to get heat on or him taking bumps for like guys like Hobbs and Takeshita. He was doing that. Like you could clearly see he was trying to make use of the reaction. It was like that's nasty. That's a nasty way to handle this. Like regardless of innocent, guilty, murky, whatever the fuck, like you know why they're booing and you are using it. That's nasty. So I don't know. Like, but I'm kind of with you on this. Like, whatever has happened, Tony Khan has already made his bed with him. So, like, to expect Tony Khan to do something or AEW to do something with Jericho is laughable. It's not gonna happen.
He's not going nowhere. Like, and quite frankly, until like either the door is kicked in, like to a level like where there's words behind this thing, a story behind this thing, a reputable story. I don't know how you can like just get Jericho out of there.
And another thing about it is like,
and look, and nor would I. Like I no like.
So the thing. So when I say that about looking for him to get thrown out or whatever on AEW's behalf. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no clue. So I'm interested to see what happens over the coming days and weeks or whatever else, because like it seems like they should address it, but business wise, it would make no sense for them to address it, and it's only gonna make a cycle where like the fans are gonna keep reacting to them, and and then they're gonna have to do something's gonna have to happen on screen to justify what the fuck's going on, and I think that's nasty because you're playing this game because you still want to keep them on. So like it's all just bad, and like you can't just make them go away because that's the same thing of that's taking them off TV is the same thing as like making a reaction to the fans react to it. It's all bad. So it's like
there should be no reaction if nothing happened, right?
Sorry?
I'm like, there should be no reaction if nothing happened, right? But I don't know. I wasn't there.
I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I don't know. These are some what do you call it? Uncharted territories for AEW. And how they handle it is going to be interesting going forward because like I know how Vince would handled it. I know how their fans reacted to it. And their fans would not have booed Jericho like that. Because they kept Riddle on. Riddle's stuff was a lot more credible. Yeah. And they just kept pushing through. They're not gonna fuck. Yeah. It was so yeah, it's a different audience and it's a different time, and Tony Khan is not Vince McMahon. So and AEW is not WWE. So so the precedent set by one company does not hold toward this company. So I'm interested to see what goes with this forward, and hopefully they don't leave it in the dark on this. Hopefully they don't make this into it. They're going to launch an investigation. We never know fuck all until we're all dead.
Yeah.
Just like the other previous two.
So
are we still waiting for those findings?
I don't know. Are we? Like but yeah, this is a lot. I'm a huge Chris Jericho fan. Been that way since the mid 90s. I'd be extremely disappointed, to say the least, depending on the level of this, thing, and where it goes to, and whatever comes out. I could just hope that whatever is going to be done is done openly and kind of fairly for everyone that's involved in this, and with women and their how do I say this? Like, this shit is not like fair for them. Like, and a lot of people or a lot of women struggle to even gain acknowledgement of problems like these. And that's like I think that's a big thing. Like when you see how a lot of women are treated. You brought her up earlier, Megan Thee Stallion. Let's talk about her. So this woman was shot, right?
Yeah.
And you can go in any comment section for any post for her, and you'll see free Tory Lanez in it. She's a liar, blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of people like doing that to Kylie Rae. I'm not gonna do that, right?
I didn't know that, and I didn't know that, but I should have already predicted that was the case. Yeah. That fucking sucks.
Like there's a lot of like.
I mean, we could talk about over last week. There was a Twitter thing that I came across that I found quite interesting. It's like the people, the backlash of Malika Andrews ever since pretty much she called in to First Take to tell Stephen A that he was bugging over the Ime Udoka thing, and she was clearly right. But the idea that like a Stephen A produced show that has a woman as a moderator that is there to basically throw up the alley-oop for him to dunk and the other guys to dunk as she sits there as they talk while she just sits around. Like, that wasn't a place for that particular fan base, and that particular fan base that watches ESPN has like circled the wagons on harassing
Um,
the fuck out of Malika Andrews ever since then, over the last year and change.
it's the
And when
same
she
thing.
was a
It's the
fucking,
same culture of like
yeah,
the way these men are reacting to these women.
yeah,
Very similar
because these
situation.
men hate women.
So
Yeah,
it's if you're hearing this show and you're like, man, I never really thought about it like that. Talk with a woman, and just try to understand like what walking out to their car feels like. At night on a store, what it's like to just show up to their place of work or whatever, and then you just got to worry about a icky feeling, having a conversation with somebody that's uncomfortable. Like these are all very real things
yeah.
that are unfortunate. It's never going to be fixed, but all like I said, acknowledgement can go a long way.
I mean, it would get fixed if dudes stop behaving fucking ridiculously.
Too many dudes.
You get my point, though.
Yeah.
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 Like the gym I go to, it's a boot camp gym. It's overwhelmingly women, and there's a group of women that I'm particularly close with, and they talk about like their dating lives, and they share with each other like their locations on their phones, almost 24/7. Now, Rich, have I ever shared my location with you ever? Have I ever had the need to? Fuck no.
No.
The reason why is because of their safety. If they get snatched up, the phone is still a way to locate this person. Last contact and all that kind of stuff. I ain't got to think of that shit. They do. That's a part. That's just one little glimpse into all the shit, women have to go through, let alone in the workplace.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, let's just move